Oh yeah. All right guys, welcome back. Survival Living here. So today's video is actually how to prep on the cheap. It is not just going to the store, guys. Now there is an initial part, absolutely. A slight investment. Oh my God, Survival Living is trying to get us to invest in him. No, fishing. All right. So I've been reading the comments, and I read you guys' comments and I appreciate it. But sometimes you get some that makes you scratch your head and go, huh? This particular comment should be a pop-up here for you. Fishing is the most expensive way to collect free food, or somewhere on the gist of that. And there are others talking about how the amount of time and energy you put into fishing, it is extremely expensive. Hopefully I got a photo for you guys. After work, I come home, I do cut bait at a chicken, and I get a whole rack of chicken for like less than $5, and that's what I use for catfishing. All right, I mean, the proof, guys, I'm bringing in anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds of catfish a night. Yeah. Kind of curious about what the value is of catfish if you go to the store? Let's go ahead and pull it up for you. So, simple Google search, and each state's going to be different. Whole catfish, fresh, typical $8.95 for a whole catfish. Moving on, 15 pounds, $87. Here we are, 4 pounds, $31. That's Walmart. 4 pounds of catfish. I do that multiple times over in one night. Yeah. 2 pounds, $15.88. So, fishing is the most expensive way of free food? BS. You know, most of these comments I read like that are people that are not doing. And that's the thing. To survive, to be a prepper, you got to be doing. It's easy to run to the store. I don't know why I keep playing with this weight. Stock up canned goods and be the ultimate prepper. You need skills. What happens when those stocks disappear? Whether a group comes in, burns you out, house fire, or the apocalypse that you're preparing for lasted much longer. Now what? Good thing you refused to go invest in some fishing rods. Let's talk about that. The expensive gear required. This right here, and by the way guys, stick with me. I'm going to go over my rigging, everything, knots and everything in this video so you guys know exactly what I'm doing and how I'm catching these fish. This right here is called the Tsunami Spear. It is a 10-foot pole. I know there's going to be some fishermen, all you need is a 7-foot, yada yada. Hey, you do you, I do me. This was 30 bucks. Yeah, 30 bucks. It came with 20-pound test line. I don't like 20 pounds because I've hung some big monsters out there. $30 for the rod. So instead, I went and got this hybrid 60-pound, 600-yard fluorocarbon nylon hybrid line. That's my baseline. That cost me 20 bucks for 600 yards. Not bad. Next is monofilament leader. This is 50 yards. Let me double check. 50 yards, 40-pound test. This is what I make my leaders out of. Now, I did invest in spider wire. It works. People have mixed feelings about this stuff. I've used it a lot out there, but I always worry that the salt water is going to break it down quick. So I really don't like using it too much. This stuff here has been doing really well. All of this other stuff, not for this video. All right. So you need line. This spider wire cost me $6. This was less than 20. $30 for a rod. So that puts us up to what, $60? Yeah. Let's forget about spider wire for a little bit. There's all kind of different hooks out there, guys. A lot. For $6, you can get these offset 6-gauge hooks. These are for live bait. Okay, $6 you get a packet of 10. Heavy duty. There's going to be commenters on how 6/0 is too small or too big. This is what I used to catch this big ass red drum. There's like 36 inches, maybe bigger, or maybe a little smaller. I run catfish on this all the time. Big cell cats, hardheads, no issue. All right, so we're getting closer to $70. Next up is my phone. Egg weights. All right, these here go on a line. So this is a 3-ounce weight, and I also use 2-ounce weight. Yeah, it just depends on what the water's doing, how choppy it is, how my bait's sitting, stuff like that. All right, and we'll do videos more in depth on that, guys. It's just been really windy when I've been out there, and the microphone doesn't pick up very well. Weights, you get a 2-pack. No, you get like a 4 or 5-pack for like $4. This is a float. It's an inline float. You take these little stobs out. Take these little stobs out, run your line through, and you plug it in. That was backwards. And I do apologize for my pliers being rusted. Salt water, it does it. These things here work great for a particular type of line, rigging. And these little beads, they're not to attract fish, it's actually to keep your knots from getting destroyed on your line. So, all in all, under $80. Next is fishing license. Well, veterans, you get a discount in the state of Florida. Disabled, you get a discount in the state of Florida. Over a certain age, you get to fish for free. Under a certain age, you get to fish for free. So, let's say $100 initial investment in gear. All right, this is on the cheap, and these I've been hanging some massive fish with this thing. I mean, I've shown posts and stuff, the massive, big ass catfish that we bring in. Nothing is under 12 inches. It's a lot of meat. So, I stock rigging. Here we go. This is what I got. Oh yeah, swivel set, snap and swivel set. A couple bucks, still under 100. This is what's known as a Carolina rig. What this is what I use for catfish. When I throw this out, it gets into the bottom, and the current lets my bait float above all the trash on the bottom. Just sits there. Sometimes it gets hung up, and that's where the floats come in. This is called a Sante rig. Same setup, just I got a steel leader on this one. But a float helps it go up higher. Just depends on where the fish are running, is how I'm going to set my line. And the way I can tell is just what's hidden and what's not, because I'm using the exact same bait on every line. So I am going to show you guys how to make this. Very simple, every tie, everything. It's very simple to do. All you need is your leader, hook, swivels, 2 beads, and an egg weight. Depending on where you're fishing at and where the fish are biting is how long you want this Carolina lead ran. All right, this lead main line, not the main line, the lead line. I do anywhere from 18 to 2 feet. That's what I'm doing in my area. So before we get into that, the comments that it costs too much. I've been dedicated fishing, the last month? As soon as I get off work, come home, do my cut bait. Like I said, I get a whole bunch of chicken that lasts me all night and into the morning running chicken for $5 a night. And I'm bringing in 10 to 20 pounds worth of meat afterwards. That's clean. After it's been cut away, 20 pounds of meat. So let's take a real quick break here and let's figure that up. At 2 pounds at $15.80, Let's see what we got here. 1588 times that by 10. I'm bringing $158 worth of fish a night on average. Yeah, that is paid for all that gear. Sure did. In one night. Now, do I have some bad nights? Not as many fish? Sometimes. Usually, what's been going on is I usually hang a couple big sail cats, and they're big. They weigh a lot. And that makes up for it. Weight over quantity. Yeah. So for the commenters that fishing is way too expensive for free food or whatever, basically they're saying it's not worth it, you're talking out your wazoo. I don't go fishing because I enjoy trophy fishing and stuff. I never was that way. I grew up poor. Fishing and hunting, trapping was a way of putting food on the table. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Everything we're bringing in, we're putting in the deep freeze. Yeah, loading that sucker up. Now again, we have EMP Shield on our deep freezer, so no matter what, on our solar grid, I should say, and our deep freezers run through our solar grid. We got our stuff protected. No matter what happens, power out, we have a way of powering up and keeping our deep freeze running. Yeah, that's why I call it prepping. Moving on. Let's take a look at the most expensive tackle box that is not online. I paid $3 for this tackle box, and all I have in here is weights, hooks, bobbers, and leaders. That's it. I use just the leader line, the heavy leader line, to catfish. I mean, I've got steel leaders and everything, but the problem is most of the time the catfish don't like to hit those, from my experience. Don't mean I'm correct on this, but I've ran nothing but this stuff here, and I got hit by sharks and popped every single one of my lines. So choice is yours on that. You lose this, you lose your weights, you lose your swivels, you lose your beads, lose your hook. Yeah. Inside the tackle box, I got a pair of nail clippers. They're like 88 cents. All right, so moving on. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a swivel. Right here, you get a big pack for like $2. Still underneath $100. We're gonna grab a number 2 ounce weight, egg weight. We are going to grab ourselves a hook, right there. And we're gonna move this out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and move the camera. And we're gonna go over tying this into this. All right, so we've got our 40-pound leader. You can use whatever you want to. There's 40, 50, 60, there's even bigger than that. 40 works good for my area. So before I roll this stuff off, guys, I go ahead and get a little bit of it. Because like I said, I make mine 18 to 24 inches. Now I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna pull some leader back. And I'm gonna start with my swivel. So what I've done, I just took my line and bent it. I got my loop right here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and push it through one of the eyelets of a swivel, and then I'm gonna fold it over and hold it with my finger, just like that. I'm gonna take my finger, my index finger, and I'm gonna twist away, making sure my swivel stays there. I'm gonna go around a couple times, 5 to 6 times. Now, I'm gonna take that loop, I'm gonna slide it through my eyelet, and then I'm gonna put my swivel through the eyelet. Through that loop. Now, holding on, we're gonna start pulling and get our lines nice and tight. Just like that. So that is our top of our leader. We're gonna get our tag line. This is called the tag line, the loose end. We're gonna trim that. We're gonna get knot right on top of the knot. I usually leave just a little bit. That way you have enough time, enough stretch and play And now I'm going to pull over 24 inches. The reason being is because we want to get our hooks and everything set. So I'm going to go to clip back here. We're going to start with a bead. Take the bead. That's going to run down all the way down the swivel. This is what the beads are for. They keep that hook from getting damaged by this large egg weight when you're tossing and everything else, because you don't want your hooks getting messed up. The egg weight goes on. We've got another bead, just like that. Get all the slack out. And that is the top of our leader. Next up, we're going to go down, grab our tag line. We're going to fold it, just like we've been doing with everything else. We're going to take our hook. Now, depends on who you talk to is the best way. I hold my hooks just like this. I come in through the bottom. All right. I take that loop just like that, and I grab my tag line. With the tag line, I'm whipping it. I go 6 to 7 whips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll hold it. Now I'm going to take my tag, go through the eyelet of the line, and I'm going to hold everything with one finger and pull my tag. I'm going to pull my main line. And I believe that's actually called a snail knot. I could be wrong. Really doesn't matter as long as it holds. And now you've got the leader set. This here is actually a little too long. So all in all, yeah, easily done. Storage, grab your hook, grab a couple, wrap around a couple fingers loosely. Roll it just like that. Hold it. Take your weights. Go around a couple times. And that's ready to go inside the tackle box. Like I said, there's all kind of tackle. This is for catfish. I've caught red drum this way. I've even caught ladyfish. So I've caught crab too. Yeah, it works. One of the things I'll tell you when you're catfishing, saltwater catfishing and also freshwater, don't be quick to snatch on your rod. All right, let it take it. Okay, so I'll set my rods up and I run 3, sometimes 4 rods, just depends on what's running. When I hit that big school, I hit every rod in the water just as fast as I could go. I was snatching fish out. Set it up, toss it out, pull up your slack. All right, you want that hook and everything, the sink and everything sit nice and tight, and then eventually it'll start working its way up, your bait. Catfish will come in, they'll start playing with it. They'll hit it, let it go, hit it, let it go, hit it, and sometimes you think you got a good hit, and they'll pull that rod all the way down. Not yet. Don't do it. What they've done is they came in and bit the chicken, but they haven't set the hook, and they're pulling and tugging on that chicken. Chicken is very strong. It does not break off very easy. If you got something taking your bait, usually it's crab. Adjust your line so your bait floats higher up off the floor bed. But you wait, and he'll come back around. You'll feel him, and you'll watch it. He'll keep hitting it, keep pulling. If he's pulled that line down twice, that rod down twice, and you still feel something on it, you got him. Now start reeling them in. Again, guys, the barbs on catfish on the front fins and also on the dorsal contains a bacterial venom. If you ever stick yourself with it, there's an enzyme on the tail, back tail of the catfish. You just smear it. It helps neutralize that. Now, it's not going to hurt because you got a puncture in your hand. But it helps neutralize that venomous bacteria, whatever it is that they got on those barbs. And so that'll help you out. Anyway, guys, I encourage you to do just this. Yeah. Simple, easy, effective way of prepping. You didn't have to go buy any freeze-dried stuff. I know, I've got freeze-dried stuff. You didn't have to go to the store and can't. These are skills you're going to need to survive. Let's put it that way. It's more than just, prepping is more than just stockpiling food and going, well, I give it to God the rest of the way. God tells you to have some common sense too. All right? He's giving you the skills, the knowledge to do things to survive. We are so disconnected from nature and survival. We are. We are completely disconnected. Just my opinion. People sit there and say they're prepared for shit hits the fan. SHTF, the Teotihuacan, whatever. They don't know how to fish, don't know how to hunt, they don't know how to skin. Oh yeah, by the way guys, for catfish, you can skin them out like that. There should be a pop-up there for you. This is another channel that done it. I was going to do a video on it. I'm like, why? Because I don't skin my catfish out. I take my catfish after I clean them and all that skin and stuff. I used to do that when I was younger till I found a better way. Cook it like salmon. Wrap it up in aluminum foil. Bake it or put it in a cold bed. When the fish is done, when you peel that aluminum foil off, the skin comes right off. That's why I don't do the skinning and all that stuff on fish anymore. It works just fine doing it like that. So, yeah, give that a try, guys. Turn the aluminum foil backside in. You want the shiny side facing the fish. That way it sticks. And then after you bake it, just peel it right off. No big deal. Anyway, guys, I want to encourage you. I'm asking you guys, start working on skills. Everyone thinks fishing's easy, all this stuff. You know, when I go out, I usually go right here locally. I'm here in Florida. And I watch people. They'll have 20 rods, and they're bouncing around, doing all kind of stuff, not catch a single thing. I go, I set my stuff up, shoot my rods out, got me a cup of coffee, smoking me a cigar. I put my music on. Yeah, I'm a rock and roll prepper fisherman. I got Bob Seger bumping, whatever. And I sit back in my camp chair with my foot propped up on my cooler, watching, waiting for my fish. I'm in no hurry. I ain't running around doing all that other stuff. That might be doing a different type of fishing. But I'm the one coming home with coolers of fish. It's worth it. Is it a lot of hours? Sure is. Prepping requires work. That's what it requires. When shit hits the fan, you're not going to the store. You're going to have to rely on your skills to feed yourself, feed your family. The dangers of fishing during shit hits the fan, I've discussed this many times, is that you're out in the open and there's going to be people that's hungry. They see you catching fish or they see you with fishing equipment, odds are they're going to try to take it. And it's not going to be this mentality, this fantasy world that most people have about how they can prevail because they got a Glock 19 and blah, 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 and tactical training from some shithead down the road. They'll swack you. They'll get you when you're not watching. How many times I've been on that bridge half asleep, fell asleep, because I worked all day, out there all night trying to fish, trying to get more fish, trying to stock up, and I'm not out. Dead. Or they could sit on the other side of the bridge. I can't see in that tree line. It's too freaking far. I'm washing my fishing rods. Long shot. Dead. Or just a group of them come up. That's why I always talk about having community. You know, if you got a community of people, you know how many rods you'll have in that water? Controlling waterways during shit hits the fan. It makes you think, there's going to be people doing that too. Marauder group stuff. I mean, you might have fishing equipment, but what if they control the waterways? What if your local government decides to lock everything down and try to be tyrannical more than they are now and lock down the waterways where you can't fish those areas because they know there's some food and supplies there? Then what? A lot to think about. All right, guys. Speak to y'all later.